Were you surprised that Mullah Omar died in a Karachi hospital instead of up north, the Northern Territories?
No, I mean, he was in Pakistan. We knew he was in Pakistan. We even had some sense of where he was. He was really generally down in Baluchistan, but he'd go down to Karachi, and that's where the hospital was. But we just didn't have the ability to operate in Pakistan, and we couldn't get our Pakistani partners to go after him.
Why does the situation in Pakistan continue to get worse, and what do you think the future of Pakistan as a country is?
It is very difficult, and it's because of a number of factors, most of which can be traced back to inadequate leadership at critical moments that resulted in, what an economist would call market imperfections, so huge subsidies on this, and this, and you've so distorted the market that nobody's going to come build a power plant there because they're not allowed by the government to sell the power at what it costs them to make it. So everything has to be subsidized. Fuel is subsidized, sugar is subsidized. You try to actually let market pricing work, and you'll have the Million Man March on your doorstep in a heartbeat. So it has become a very, very dysfunctional place. And sadly, the elite, in many cases, is sort of okay with this. Very few of them pay taxes in a meaningful way. I forget what percentage of the members of the parliament didn't pay any taxes. And yet they send their kids to Oxford, like you, and other great schools, hopefully Princeton. And Harvard if they can't get into Princeton. But our son went to MIT, and I love the sweatshirt they sell there in the bookstore. I didn't mention it last night when I was doing my senior fellowship at Harvard stuff, but it says, "Thank God for Harvard, everybody can't get into MIT." But anyway, so, I mean, there's just a whole constellation of factors now in Pakistan. The biggest threat to Pakistan is not India, as they would like to portray it, and the army portrays it so they can have big forces and all the rest of this. The big threat to Pakistan is the extremism inside their own country that is corroding the society steadily, and public education is going downhill, public services are going downhill, the population's growing, weather challenges. It's just really, really a difficult place. And it's hard to see. I don't know that an incredibly strong leader can even get through the changes that are necessary, because this is one of those cases. It's not unlike the surge, where I told people in advance, this is going to get a lot harder before it gets easier, because as we take these difficult steps, the bad guys are going to fight us. If you take the difficult steps in Pakistan, again, you're going to have millions of people on the streets, and you're going to have social unrest, very likely. And so there's a really circumscribed role for those who lead the country, even if they sought to be very courageous. There's some advantages right now for them with the dramatic reduction in the price of oil, because they subsidize that very heavily, and that has reduced that. Their balance of payments is better. I mean, believe it or not, when I took over as the commander of U.S. Central Command, in my first visit to Washington, D.C., the first guy I went to see, believe it or not, was the World Bank president, who happened to be Bob Zoellick, by the way, who I've worked with since then. But I went to see him because I was worried that the single biggest threat to Pakistan was not, again, in the security realm. It was that they were going to run out of foreign reserves, and they would therefore run out of fuel, and the entire economy would seize up. So, I mean, here's a military commander who's so worried about that factor because of the security implications it had for a country with whom we're trying to partner to go after al-Qaeda senior leadership. By the way, we have done a spectacular job in that. I am sure it was purely coincidental that during the time I was privileged to be the director of the CIA, that the most dangerous job in the world was number 2 in al-Qaeda, because 3 of them had a house fall on them during that period of time. But I'm sure, again, it was bad fortune.